Good evening, this is Chuck W3ON, operating as W3OC, net control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. This radio net meets every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system, operating here on 147.12 and 442.250 megahertz, and also on Echolink. Membership in the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. That's P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at TRARC.org, TRARC.org, and also on Facebook. Radio Club meetings are held the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue in Elizabeth, PA. That for checking is emergency or priority traffic at this time. Does anyone have listings of silent keys? Any radio amateurs who recently passed away? Hear anything? Okay. Please, when I'm going to take check-ins here in a few moments. When you check into this net, keep your call sign slowly and phonetically. I mean, spell out your call sign, and let me know if you have any announcements or comments for the net. Okay. Let me take a quick stop here. Are there anybody on Echolink wishes to check in? Call now.
This is Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff in Irwin. Good evening, everybody. No traffic, no messages.
I got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray. Anybody else on Echolink?
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Charlie Papa Papa. This is Ricky. I'll be staying full-time, and I'm in Lansing, Michigan.
Board of Directors wishing to check in. Call now.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3, Sugar Tango, Bob, Elizabeth Township. Good evening, Chuck. Evening to the net. No traffic.
Chuck, you doubled with another person on Echolink. Go ahead and take them, please.
Okay, all right. Who else was checking in on Echolink?
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Charlie Papa Papa. This is Ricky from Lansing, Michigan. No traffic or messages.
Thank you. I've got Kilo Charlie 8 Charlie Papa Papa. Thank you. Anybody else on Echolink? Thank you for checking in. Anybody else on Echolink? All right. Okay, let's continue on with the Board of Directors. Anybody else from the Board of Directors?
Net Control, please copy. November 3, Juliet Hotel Bravo. Jim Portable out here in Pleasant Hills. Also with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening, everybody on the internet. No traffic.
Control. Net Control, recognize Kilo 3 Charlie Romeo Oscar John Baldwin. No comments, no traffic.
W3OC. Please copy November 3, Linda, Quebec, Charlie, Bill in Dayton. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic tonight.
Okay, here's what I got from the Board of Directors. Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango. The Three Musketeers, November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo. Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and the Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar, and November 3 Lima, Quebec Charlie. Anybody else from the Board of Directors wishing to check in, call now. Eddie, thank you. All right, I got two on Echolink. I got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray and Kilo Charlie 8 Charlie Papa Papa. Thank you, from Michigan. All right, now I'm looking for stations operating mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel, Bill in Hancock County, West Virginia. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. Here is Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta 8 from Irwin, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck. Everybody on the net. No further comment.
W3OC. W3OC is recognized November 3, Alpha Hotel Charlie. Return your portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to Chuck and everybody else on the net. I have no traffic.
W3OC. It's November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. That's N3 TAU Norman Penn, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, Dan Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
Okay, thank you. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel. Excuse me, Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta. November 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie Portable. November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. And Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Alpha 3 Foxtrot Whiskey Quebec. Jeff in Greensburg. Good evening, everyone.
W3OC. This is Whiskey November 8, Kilo X-Ray Yankee. Bill in Weirton, West Virginia. Good evening, all.
Okay, I got Kilo Alpha 3 Fox Whiskey Quebec and Whiskey November 8 Kilo X-Ray Yankee. Thank you. Excuse me. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? Now we'll open up basically for base stations. Anybody else wish to check in, call now.
W3OC. Alpha 3 India Oscar Uniform.
W3OC. So Alpha 3 Kilo Sierra Papa. Jimmy Carnegie.
W3OC. There is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, rural in Elizabeth Township.
Good evening, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No traffic.
Okay, that time I got Whiskey America 3 India Oscar Uniform, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa, Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio, and there's somebody else in there I didn't get to call. Try again. Okay, I missed somebody, but okay. Anybody else wishing to check in, call now.
W3OC. November 3 Juliet Papa Quebec. Kurt in Norfolk Cells. Good evening to the net. No comments.
W3OC. Please welcome Alpha 3 Mike Radio, AA3MR, name is Walt, here on Echolink here in Elizabeth, PA. Good evening to you and everybody on the net. No comments.
Okay, got Alpha 3 Mike Radio on Echolink. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? All right, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody who did take the time to check in this evening. We got a couple new folks in here tonight, just general information. This particular radio net, we have a total of 4 nets that meet during the week. This one is the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club. We're basically an information net. We do newsline, information about local amateur radio activities here in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Western Pennsylvania area, at least what we can find. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to check with us via Echolink or let's see, we got 2 guys from West Virginia tonight. Thank you for that. Thank you for their first time. This radio net's been in operation for more than 30 plus years. It's been around since the mid-1980s. So I hope you, if you're on Echolink, you take a listen to our repeater at times, and maybe join in with some of the gang when they get on for that. Okay, but this particular net is an information net more than a social net too much. The other nets we have, the other 3 we have this month are more social. Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. on this repeater system, we have the Two Rivers Gap Net. It's a social kind of a thing, and you're welcome to join us. The net runs anywhere from an hour to sometimes a little longer than that, depending on the amount of check-ins. And then on Thursday nights, we're on 10 meters at 8 o'clock p.m. on 28460 megahertz, or 28460 kilohertz, I should say. It's another gap net, social thing. And then on Friday nights, we're on 40 meters at 6 p.m. local time. That would be Eastern Standard Time at this time of the year. On 40 meters on 7215 kilohertz. The 10 and 40 meter ones, the frequencies may vary a little bit depending on band activity. So hopefully you get a chance to join us. Radio Club, this Two Rivers Club, we also have other activities we do during the course of each month. On the second Thursday of each month, we have a gathering called the Social Night, Two Rivers ARC Social Night. It's a social gathering. We actually get on the air and operate on HF. The purpose is to give people an experience of operating on HF. Some folks have never done that or have done it very limited. So we run that on the second Thursday at the Lincolnboro Volunteer Fire Department, 4312 Liberty Way. It's considered the mailing address is Elizabeth, PA. It's in the suburbs of the city of McKeesport. So you're welcome to join us for that. Club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of each month at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department. You heard me mention that before. We also have once a month we have a thing called the Two Rivers ARC Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That's another activity, social gathering for the members and families. And anybody else wishes to join us, we usually have breakfast at one of the local restaurants. Currently, we're using the Rock Run Inn at the Butler's Golf Course in the suburbs of Elizabeth, PA. Anybody's welcome to join us for that if you want to. We have a Ham Fest once a year. Our Ham Fest is scheduled this year for April the 6th. Let me find the flyer here. Where the exit thing at? April the 6th, again at the Lincolnboro Volunteer Fire Department. What they call number 184 Social Hall, 4312 Liberty Way, Elizabeth, PA. The flyer is on our website, TRARC.org, on the internet. We've been doing this thing for years. It says on the flyer it's our 53rd, and we've had it at various locations over the years. The prize list has already been announced. We got an Exigu G90 HF 20-watt QRP transceiver with battery or cash, a Yaesu FTM 500D, 2 meter 70 centimeter transceiver or cache, or a Yaesu FT70DR digital handheld or cache, and we also have a portable generator listed as the main prizes. There will be other things added to that list as we get a little bit closer. Anybody wishes to get advanced prize tickets, you can do that by contacting one of our people or our website, TRARC.org. There's full instructions up there. The Hamfest this year is going to be an indoor-outdoor, so we're going to have tailgating this year for the first time in many years. The contact information for the Two Rivers Hamfest is an email address, hamfest@trarc.org, hamfest@trarc.org. Or you can make phone calls. You have to leave a message for that most of the time. 412-951-1332, 412-951-1332, or 412-260-5699, 412-260-5699. We're also going to have amateur radio exam sessions in the morning. It's best to sign up for that if you can, because space is usually limited, like all these kind of affairs. Our Hamfest, our exam coordinator can be reached by phone, 412-751-9657, 412-751-9657. I think there's an email address, but I don't have that here in front of me. But that's coming up on April the 6th. That gives you a rough idea of some of the activities of the Two Rivers Club. So we've got a lot of stuff going on at various times, and local amateurs are encouraged to participate in that, or anybody else that wishes to also. Let's see here. I'm looking for my calendar of things that are coming up. Okay, it is W3OC Net Control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club Net. Okay, here's a calendar of events that are coming up here in the area or of interest to amateur radio operators, hopefully. In February, that's this month, February 26th is the Breeze Shooters 10-meter ground wave contest. That's the first of 3 contests that they run on the Breeze Shooters run on the 10-meter band. Hours are 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's a Saturday night. The 23rd of February is the Wireless Association of South Hills Hamfest. Where's that flyer at? I just got that. And that's going to be held at the Home Economics Building in South Park. That's a county park. Location is 3735 Buffalo Drive in South Park Township, Pennsylvania. That's in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. It says behind the Allegheny County Police Station on Brownsville Road. Talking will be on 146-955 or 443-650 repeaters. They're going to have breakfast and lunch will be available. Main prizes include an ICOM IC7100 VHF UHF transceiver. Second prize is a Yaesu FTM 600 DR 2 meter 70 centimeter transceiver. Third prize is Yaesu FT70R portable transceiver. They have black box prizes and other things too. I think you can, if you wish to sign up for a table for that, you can contact one of the coordinators. They got a phone number here, 412-831-4886. 412-831-4886, or email is to Whiskey 3 Lima Echo W3E @comcast.net. Or they also say email us directly to washarc@yahoo.com. washarc@yahoo.com. Their website is www.november3sugarhotel.org, www.november3sugarhotel.org. That's coming up here in a couple weeks. All right. Let's see. Looking into March, Breeze Shooters Ground Wave Contest, 10 meters. That's the phone mode, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's a Saturday night. The Two Rivers Amateur Radio, we hold amateur radio exams 4 times at our Hamfest. The first one will be on March 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the McKeesport Area High School on Eden Park Boulevard, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. On March the 15th, the third Breeze Shooters Ground Wave Contest. That's the all digital mode. That's RIDI, FT8, and all that kind of stuff. Again, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's on March the 15th. And recently just announced, the Westmoreland Emergency Amateur Radio Service is having their Hamfest on Saturday, March the 29th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The location is the Greensburg Masonic Center, 349 Donahue Road in Greensburg. That's the Greensburg Masonic Center, 349 Donahue Road in Greensburg, PA. Talking will be on the 14718 repeater system. They have a website with a lot of this information on. It's www.whiskeycharlie3papasugar.org. www.wc3ps.org. They got a prize list listing including a Zigugu G90 HF 20-watt SDR transceiver, a Radio Didity DMR mobile radio. That's a handheld, I think. And a third prize is a Yaesu 70DR Fusion dual band radio. So that's coming up on Saturday, March the 29th. Okay, and let's see what else I have here. In April, of course, the Two Rivers Hamfest I just mentioned, April 6th. The Two Rivers Club is going to be sponsoring a technician class, study class, starting on April the 17th and run for 6 weeks. 6 sessions, I should say, once a week. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, 4312 Liberty Way. More information to be announced. And this one was just announced not long ago, April the 27th. If you're interested in antique radios of all kinds, the Pittsburgh Antique Radio Society has a thing called it's called the Tri-State Radio Fest. That's coming up on April the 27th at the Center Stage Banquet Hall in Monaca, PA. Looking real far down the list here. Not that far away. May the 4th, it's an ARES activity, Pittsburgh Marathon. And they will be looking for, the local ARES will be looking for operators to help with that. Of course, if you're going to the Dayton Hamvention, that's on May the 16th through the 18th at the Greene County Fair and Expo Center in Xenia, Ohio. A lot of stuff to think about, or activities that you can do. All righty. All right, I think that's kind of what I got. I have an ARLDX bulletin. I'll read excerpts from that after the Newsline, after the AR Newsline plays. By the way, there is a news report on Newsline up there about the recent Mount Athos expedition. I believe it's the starting one. So you might want to listen to that. I've been hearing excerpts about it for the last 3 or 4 days. So let me flip over and let's see what Newsline's got. I'll take a quick standby. Does anybody need to repeat your ending they've heard? Okay, all right, okay, let me switch over to Newsline. It's W3OC to Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2466, with a release date of Friday, January 31st, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Trouble for the Mount Athos expedition. A Bouvet Island team hires its transportation, and an old NASA antenna gets a new job. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2466 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Our top story this week takes us to Greece, where the Mount Athos SV1GA/A de-expedition team halted their activation shortly after it got underway amid challenges over whether they had permission to be there. The coveted DX entity has been a World Heritage Site since 1988 and is listed as 28th on the Club Log DXCC list. The team went on the air for their planned 10-day operation in late January to mark the 50th anniversary of the first amateur radio activation there. The five-member team was led by two of the operators from the original Mount Athos activation, Marty, OH2BH, and Aris, SV1GA. The other team members were Adrian, KO8SCA, Gabi, YO8WW, and Nico, OH2GEK. Their signal went silent within a day, however, after they said they received a letter from the Mount Athos Holy Community regarding the de-expedition's right to operate at the site, which is home to about 2,000 monks in 20 monasteries. On Wednesday, the 29th of January, the team issued a public statement through Bernie McClenny, W3UR, saying that they planned to provide authorities with whatever information is needed for the issue to be clarified, saying that they would, quote, wait for relevant authorities to meet and review our case, end quote. On Thursday, January 30th, Marty released a public statement announcing that the team was leaving the island while awaiting a decision by the local authorities who had issued the hams their permit. An earlier statement from the team prior to their activation had been one of hope. The team wrote, quote, we would like to think that this Mount Athos activation is just the first step in opening the doors to other teams to activate this desired amateur radio entity. Our goal is to show that amateur radio de-expeditions have no impact on the monastic life of the Holy Mountain. On the contrary, it creates goodwill and allows the 3 million amateurs around the world to see this beautiful and serene place with different eyes, end quote. Meanwhile, get ready for Bouvet 2026. The 3Y0K team has announced that it has signed some contracts for transportation. Another step towards going to this coveted DX. Jim Meechan, ZL2, BHF, has the details.
The de-expedition to Bouvet Island next year is ready to go forward. Team 3Y0K plans to leave Cape Town, South Africa, on the 1st of February 2026 for 36 days on the remote subantarctic island, the 10th most wanted DXCC entity on the Club Log list. The team announced that it has signed a contract with Ice Tugs, an Iceland-based company that will transport them to the island by boat. Contracts have also been signed with Ultimate Aviation of Cape Town to provide the team with a helicopter, 2 pilots, and a mechanic. Costing an estimated $1.6 million in U.S. currency, the de-expedition will have a team of between 18 and 24 operators. Its financial support includes donations as well as grants from the Northern California DX Foundation. The team said on its website that it considered the signing of the contracts with both companies to be a major milestone. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Satellite enthusiasts in Switzerland are inviting everyone to help pay tribute to a radio operator who was in the vanguard of making QSOs via those birds in the sky. We have that story from Jeremy Boot, G4, NJH.
AMSAT Switzerland proudly uses the call sign HB9RG as a way to honor Hans Rudolf Lauber. Hans became a silent key in 2017 at the age of 92. But until then, the call sign belonged to this innovative Swiss amateur who completed the first amateur radio satellite QSO in March of 1965. The contact with Alphonse Hering, DL6EZA, was completed via the Oscar 11 satellite. Hans Rudolf will be honored again by satellite enthusiasts in March when AMSAT HB hosts the Hans Rudolf Lauber HB9RG Memorial Trophy event. In the spirit of this avid DXer, the trophy will recognize contacts made over significant distances during the 2 weeks between the 3rd and 16th of March. Contacts must be made using only low Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit, or high Earth orbit satellites. For more details and full explanation of the rules, follow the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
Scientists believe that one key to predicting dangerous solar flares may rest in a clue that they have found in the sun's coronal loops. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about that clue.
Analyzing images captured at NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, researchers say they have identified a telltale flickering that seems to be a tip-off that dangerous solar flares are soon to follow. The scientists detected the flickering in coronal loops of shining plasma. This was actually ultraviolet light at specific wavelengths, and it occurred before the sun shot massive bursts of electromagnetic radiation, which we know as solar flares. The researchers viewed the phenomenon just before 50 such solar flares. Their findings were presented to the American Astronomical Society in Maryland on January 15th. The scientists believe that what they have observed may provide a way to develop more dependable forecasts of space weather. They believe that predictions based on this observation can offer accuracy of 60 to 80% for flares that occur within 2 to 6 hours. The biggest of these geomagnetic disturbances can disrupt power grids, satellite orbits, rail lines, and GPS systems. More accurate forecasts of space weather would also be welcomed by amateur radio operators and people chasing the northern lights. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
2 days in April will be devoted to getting the best out of using VHF, UHF, and weak signal microwaves to operate at the Southeastern VHF Conference in Clarksville, Tennessee. We have more details from Cell MB, KB3TZD.
Organizers are looking for papers and presentations that cover equipment, construction projects, station accessories, roving, DXing, and the digital modes. Anything relevant to weak signal operating on either an operational or technical level. In general, the conference is not accepting topics on FM or packet repeaters, or packet unless the subject relates directly to weak signal operations. The deadline for submissions is the 15th of February and should be emailed to Mike Stipik, KC4RI, at kc4ri@att.net. The conference will be held on April 4th and 5th. For details on acceptable formats for submissions, follow the link that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Cell MB, KB3TZD.
Retirement isn't for everyone, and that includes antennas, especially ones used by NASA for many of its historic space missions over the years. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, tells us about one historic antenna that's gone back into service in Australia.
Decommissioned almost 40 years ago, the 29.8-metre parabolic antenna at the site of Australia's Overseas Telecommunications Commission in Carnarvon, West Australia, will be reporting for duty again as part of a satellite tracking system said to be of interest to the military. The return will follow a period of thorough refurbishing that includes some new paint, some new equipment to be installed, and the removal of some serious accumulations of pigeon droppings over the years. According to ABC News Australia, the refurbishment began last year. The dish is the property of Fosex Australia, part of the private Canadian aerospace company Fosex, which bought it in 2022 in the hopes of offering it for use by military clients interested in having satellite tracking capabilities. The antenna is a veteran of many notable NASA missions, including the Apollo 11 moon landing. Although it's not yet ready for prime time, ABC News Australia reported in December 24 that the dish had received its first signal in 40 years, sent as a test from a geostationary object. This is Graham Kemp, BK4BB.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the Utah Amateur Radio Club's W7SP repeater on Sundays as part of the club's 9 p.m. net.
W3OC.
An ambitious project in Canada hopes to develop a mesh network to link repeaters and to accommodate several digital modes, hoping to combine the best features of such digital networks as ham WAN, Arden, and the new packet radio, developers in Canada are starting development of a mesh network that will operate on the 70-centimeter band. Writing in the newsletter Zero Retries, Martin Alcock, VE6VH, said that the project is being designed to link repeaters using RF and will include digital voice modes, data transfers, messaging, and a data networking layer. The project is called IP400, short for Intelligent Protocol 400. It has the support of the Alberta Digital Radio Communications Society and is looking for contributors familiar with the C and C++ languages. Free open source code is being used for the development. IP400 is intended to operate on amateur frequencies between 420 and 450 megahertz. Martin said that unlike conventional analog links, the digital mesh platform will be capable of carrying compressed digital video as well as compressed audio and telemetry. He writes, quote, "The first step is to get a simple chat and beaconing application running to experiment with the technology. From there, we can layer on other features and frame types and then consider moving into the repeater world." End quote. A link to his contact page can be found in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Although repeater systems are often viewed as safety nets by travelers as well as emergency responders, these wireless layers of protection are not everywhere. One group in eastern Colorado has been working to change that. Here's Andy Morrison, K9 AWM, with the details.
The Eastern Colorado Repeater Association is a small and very new group that has taken on a big job to close what one organizer calls the repeater communication gap across eastern Colorado. The organizer, Brian Wheeler, KB9UZO, is a retired firefighter and aircraft mechanic who has assembled a group of radio operators specifically to fill what he considers a dead zone in that part of the state. Brian writes on the group's GoFundMe page that with no reliable radio coverage in the state's eastern plains region, the effort's first priority is to expand coverage via VHF, UHF, DMR, and APRS through a linked repeater system. He said that testing had already begun with a repeater in eastern El Paso County on 147.030 megahertz, but progress is slow because of limited resources. At the same time, Brian said he hopes he can create a network of something just as reliable and important, a welcoming community of hams like him who are involved in experimenting with technology and in growing a cohesive community of radio amateurs. He writes, quote, "We want every member to feel included, heard, and appreciated as we work together to strengthen communication networks and enrich the amateur radio experience throughout the region," end quote. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
A noted CW contester and prominent YL in the international community has become a silent key. We hear more about her from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
A ham since 1975, Roselle Zenker, DL3KWR, died on the 15th of January, according to an announcement by Scandinavian Young Ladies Radio Amateurs, one of 6 YL groups she belonged to. Roselle was an amateur who loved to combine travel with being on the air, and had made use of 70 different call signs in 22 countries that she'd visited, often with her husband, Hardy, DL3KWF. She had also traveled for about 20 years to participate in international YL meetings of clubs in New Zealand, Australia, the USA, Japan, and Scandinavia. She was a member of the Russian CW Club, the Professional Radio Operators CW Club, and the Croatian Telegraphy Club. Roselle was primarily a CW operator, but tried to bring a personal touch to many of her QSOs. Writing on her personal webpage, dl3kwr.de, she said that CW is not as impersonal as it may seem to some. She quoted the small messages that she would send to others within the CW contest community that would offer the simple, heartfelt greeting, "Nice to meet you again." Roselle was in her 80s. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In the world of DX, be listening for Willie, ON4AVT, operating as 6W7/ON4AVT from Senegal. He'll be on the air from the 2nd of February through to the 10th of April. See QRZ.com for QSL details. The Bahrain Amateur Radio Society is marking the 100th anniversary of the International Amateur Radio Union and will be on the air for 5 days of each month this year. Special call sign is A9100IARU. QSL via EC6DX. Harold, DF2WO, is using the call sign 9X28W from Rwanda through to the 15th of February, operating CW, single sideband, and FT8, FT4 on 160 through 6 meters. He is also operating via the QO100 satellite. QSL via M0OXO's OQRS. For our final story, we turn to deep space and some new insights into an old discovery that could pose serious dangers for space travel. John Williams, VK4 JJW, shares those insights.
They're called chorus waves, but these disturbances, first discovered in the Earth's magnetic field decades ago, are apparently nothing to sing about. For one thing, scientists realize that these bursts of energy are not necessarily limited to the Earth and nearby planets. Their presence may pose dangers to deep space travel. When the waves are converted to audio, the signals are said to chirp, mimicking bird song. The dark side to this sweet song is the discovery that the waves are capable of accelerating particles to almost the speed of light, a rate that would endanger astronauts and spacecraft passing through them. Scientists have dubbed these particles killer electrons. The finding was made recently by researchers at Beihang University in China and published in the journal Nature. The researchers detected the chorus waves through the use of NASA's magnetospheric multi-scale mission, a study of the Earth's magnetic field that utilizes 4 satellites flying in formation. Earth isn't the only planet experiencing this phenomenon. Scientists now know that the waves can occur near any planet in our solar system with a magnetic field. In fact, a magnetic field is no longer a prerequisite. The waves have been found on Venus too, which has no magnetic field. They're created instead when solar wind enters the atmosphere from transient fields, all of which leads scientists of questions. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Have you sent in your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to the ABC News Australia, Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT HB, Bernie McClenny, W3UR, David Behar, K7DB, DX News, Facebook, 425 DX News, GoFundMe, Hackaday, Live Science, National Public Radio, Peg Hart, WA2YBZ, Scandinavian Young Ladies Radio Amateurs, Scientific American, shortwaveradio.de, space.com, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Zero Retry Newsletters, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights reserved.
Yeah, it's W3OC Net Control for the Tours, and that concludes this week's Newsline transmission. I tried to give you some highlights out of the Airwell DX bulletin that came out on January the 30th. That's last Thursday. I think that's when it comes out. from the world of DX. This is DX Bulletin number, it's DX Bulletin number 5. Let's see, they got Nigeria, 5 November 9, Delta Tango Golf. Started on the 1st and runs for 2 weeks. Senegal, that's in Africa. 6 Whiskey Stroke Oscar, November 4 Alpha Victor Tango. Started on February 2nd and runs to April 10th. All these stations operate CW single sideband and digital, most of them. Rwanda, this one I found interesting. 9X2 Alpha Whiskey says it can operate from Kigali. That's a big city in Rwanda. As we all know, until there's been a local war going on over there in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, with Rwanda is involved in that in some respects. So I'm kind of wondering if that one is even doing anything. But let's see, Bahrain, that's in the Middle East. Alpha 9100 IARU. So the first 5 days of each month, celebrating the International Amateur Radio Union's 100th anniversary. Nauru, C21 Tango Sugar. He's going to be there until September of this year. The Gambia, that's in Africa. Let's see. Oh boy, it doesn't give their call signs. Guinea-Bissau, Austria, that's a special event station. Antarctica, this one's always interesting. There's quite a few operations out of Antarctica. It says here Oscar Hotel Fox Papa. Its call sign is Oscar Juliet 1 Alpha Bravo Oscar Alpha. He's operating from the Finnish Antarctic Station in Aboa, ABOA. That's an island right off the coast of Antarctica. He said there till February the 12th. Seychelles, these are ones that are on quite a bit. Sugar 79 / Victor Echo 3 Bravo United, Bravo Radio United. Special event station for India, Alpha Uniform 75 Bravo Sugar Golf until February 4th. That one's probably going to end tomorrow. I can't remember I read this name of this club. The 75th anniversary is a Bharat Scouts and Guides thing. Indonesia, of course, is always on. That's just some of the stuff. It's an ARL DX bulletin. I can point you to various places you can look for information about this cup. DXnews.com is on the internet. It has a lot of information about DXing and things like that. There's a thing called DX World also that has a lot of these things in the world of DX. If you're not interested in DX, that's fine too. But band conditions are still considered fairly decent, and would encourage you to get a chance to try to operate some of these stations. Now, you did hear the story about Mount Athos here tonight, and of course the Bouvet expedition, BOUVET. That's an island off the, I think it's off the Antarctic coast in the Pacific Ocean. That's uninhabited. They've been trying to get an amateur radio operation to actually operate from there the last couple of years. I know, I think it was last year they tried, but could not land. There was too much surf and storms and stuff, so to get there you have to go by boat, and that's why you hear them. They said the projected cost for the Bouvet expedition coming up is $1.6 million. That's a lot. Well, they say, well, where the heck do you get all that kind of money? Well, they get it through donations from companies and things like that. So, because it is high up on the DX Century Club wanted list, as is some of these others. So, of course, like I said, you can always get on the bands, and if you're on 10 meters especially, you can work the Europeans pretty much every day. And if you really want to get the DX Century Club work the 100 countries thing, you can do that. Especially when they run a major contest like the CQ Worldwide, which is held in the end of October, an ARL DX contest. I think it's sometime in January. And there are other contest operations. I know this operator has worked at quite a few stations in the Far East. during the All Asian DX contest. That happens, I don't remember the exact date, but it's sometime later in the end of the year. So if you don't care, that's okay too. It's always a good time to have fun with that stuff. If you're interested, on a second. If you're interested in the digital modes, FT8 and FT4 are usually full of DX stations when the bands are open, and the contacts are very brief. And normally, like my buddy said, they're hello, goodbye, goodbye. Well, okay, well it's digital, so and you can make a lot of contacts with it that way. Because it's a very popular mode right now, digital modes. All right, let's see. I don't think I've sit here and expounded my brains out till I don't want to do anything more. So at this time, I'm going to take a standby. Do anybody need to repeat for anything they've heard before we do a day? See if we have any late check-ins. It's W3OC.
W3OC, KB3 DVD. I have a question, Chuck.
Okay, go ahead. KB3 DVD is W3OC. Go ahead.
What time do you usually meet at the Rock Run-In on the second Saturday of the month?
Oh, that's right. I didn't announce that. 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. You got that?
Yeah, Chuck, I got it. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions? I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry for that. A lot of this information is on our website, trarc.org. Not trying to blow you off for that, but okay. All right, I'll take a standby for any late check-ins. It's W3OC.
W3OC, Whiskey, Alpha 3, Bravo Oscar, Juliet. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, Nat.
Hey, Whiskey America 3, Bravo Oscar, Japan. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to close the net out this hour. I thank everybody who did take the time to check us this evening. And again, welcome to the folks that were on Echolink this evening, and maybe we'll catch you again at other times. The Echolink system is currently operating 24 hours a day, so give us a chance. If you want to call over there, you can. And with that, I'm going to turn the repeater back to John Hughes. I showed 22 check-ins this evening. And thank you all, and everybody have a good night. It's W3OC. This one is W3ON.